Mr. Chairman, Sir, distinguished fellow speakers, ladies and gentlemen, it's very difficult to speak after three powerful speakers, and it's also very difficult to catch the attention of the audience, particularly before the lunch. But I promise you I'll keep it short. In a similar seminar in January 2010, after 2611, when I put my laptop and connected to my server in Hyderabad and keyed in a random cell phone number or a random vehicle number, and when my server sent back the data as to who it belongs to, the entire hall went in applause and they clapped. But that was in Jan 2010. That was perhaps around that time I was one of the few persons in the country who was having that app. Technology is so fast today, everybody has that. And that's exactly why we should leverage technology more and more to share the database of all the registries so that we can provide more safety and security to our fellow citizens. I don't think we can forget these pictures. I thought I'll put this slide so that it sets the tone for the discussion. When we are talking about these kind of attacks and threats, we normally restrict ourselves or our thought process to the physical security, be it terrorist or Naxal or secessionist or natural disasters, which is not man-made. But cyber attacks or attack on the mass transport systems, water supply, power supply also can take place. There can be terrorist attacks which will make your medical systems collapse. So it is not necessary that an attack or a disaster is confined to the very life of people, though it is very important, we should look into that aspect. But there are other areas too. So there is a need for us to also look into those issues. When we talk about the types, terrorism or natural disasters, man-made disasters, events, and combination of all these things, on terrorism, 9/11, 26/11 come to our mind. Memory is very, as though it has just happened yesterday, where none of us have forgotten about these things. Disasters, natural disasters like tsunami, man-made disasters like Bhopal tragedy, gas tragedy. There are events like melas in the country, and a combination of these things also can take place. So I've never been to this place where the mela is held, so please don't waste your time in trying to locate me there. So in the man-sponsored versus the natural, we generally tend to think that the man-sponsored terrorist activities or attacks or security issues are broadly confined to the urban areas. But actually what I'm trying to capture in this slide is a disaster can take place anywhere. It can be urban or rural. It can be in remote areas also. And therefore, the responses are not always easy. Sometimes you can plan for mitigation operations, but the responses will become very, very difficult unless you do not think of all the permutations and then have plan for them. So therefore, planning is very, very important. So I'm coming back to the same slide because my subsequent slides have something to do with this. Now, what are the lessons that we have learned from 26/11? I'm saying they are the lessons we have learned, and these lessons are basically I'm confining to technology and not to the human response. I understand a good portion of the audience today is from technology. I'm talking to the technology, I'm talking to the industry. So if you look at the events and the response and whether they were scalable, the response was scalable or escalated or not, and whether we did employ analytics. If you see that, we were handicapped at that time. We were not having many of these things, and therefore, the police organizations or the rescue organizations had a lot of difficulties in getting into the operations. So therefore, the challenge in front of us is what is that the technology can provide to mitigate these kind of situations. Now, if you look at the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminal, the shootout lasted for 90 minutes. The first response team arrived there after 300 minutes. What amount of escalation has taken place, we do not know. And whether there were any preventive video surveillances available at the places, whether they were there or not, also we are not aware of that. And a police vehicle was hijacked. And when the police vehicle was hijacked, the police vehicle with the terrorists, while firing, went all along and took a detour for about 1.5 kilometers. And in this 1.5 kilometers in the middle of Bombay had a lot of hotels and banks. All of them had CCTV cameras. All of them have their own video captures. Whether we had any option of, on an IP-based cameras, with a click of the mouse, go into those cameras and take the visuals or not, do any analytics or not. So these are the various issues that we have to look at. Now look at the response system. At the Taj Mahal Hotel, NSG was ready in Delhi. For about 8 hours or 10 hours, there was no vehicle to fly them across. And when they flew, whatever images that were made available to NSG, as a country, let us not talk about you and me, as a country, is the visuals that are shown by the media. With the help of those visuals, NSG slithered down the helicopters on the top of the Taj Mahal Hotel. Incidentally, Taj Mahal Hotel at that particular time was in the control of the terrorists. So if you don't provide the enforcement agencies with the right type of technology, you find your soldiers, the people who are willing to lay down their lives for your security and safety, they're actually grounding themselves in an area which is in the control of the enemy. Now look at the hostage which lasted for 3,600 minutes. Whether there was any telescopic war room facility between Bombay and Delhi, whether the video analytics were available for both Bombay and Delhi simultaneously to take some quality decisions. Then, were there any virtual floor maps available so that on a screen you can see what is the layout of each floor by floor, staircase by staircase, and then do your planning. So let us not get into the blame game, it's very simple, but basically planning and collaboration is the need of the hour, which is complex, but we need to do it. It is difficult, but we have to do that. So when we talk about the plan and prepare, we're basically talking about preventing any attack or protecting the area from being attacked, and quick responses and quick recoveries. The objective is basically to prevent an incident. If there is something going to happen, who and what, from the technology point of view, is going to generate alarms, and whether the response, because we are having different types of attacks, different types of scenarios, are we in a position to prepare SOPs for those? Otherwise, we should not find in a situation where we are responding promptly, yes, but inappropriately, which does not suit to that particular situation. So, various tools are available, which I have given in the illustration. It could be access control, biometrics, perimeter control, surveillance cameras, that is for the prevention, for the protection in intrusion alarm systems. The intelligent video surveillance is another thing which we need to work a lot. Now, other things are by and large available, the vehicle tracking, the mobile phone tower analysis. But what is the main area that I am trying to concentrate is the command and the control centers. There is a lot of gap in the command and control centers. So we have array of technologies. On the voice inputs, we have the police radio, the dial 100, which receives a lot of phone calls. We have the EMRI 108, the medical response system. On the text, probably public is sending SMS to police. Is there anybody to take a look at that SMS? Maybe somebody is sending an email about something. Somebody is doing twittering. Somebody is putting it on a Facebook. Most important, which we need to again encourage people, is crowdsourcing. As a culture, are we into crowdsourcing? Then the visuals, the CCTV cameras, both in private and public domain, so many banks, so many hotels, all of them have deployed CCTV cameras. Why don't we have access to them? Then the GIS, GPS, GPRS mapping, I cannot undermine the importance of that. But basically the business intelligence systems and software, basically are we putting all the computers and the cloud, the mobile phone tracking and the vehicle tracking and the trend analysis all together. So if you look at this array of technologies, what basically it means is there are different technologies used by different people for different purposes. Are we in a position to make them converge into one place and make the best use of it? That is the future. If we can put all of them together, converge into one place. So therefore, what we are looking at, the unified approach, it requires communications, a preventive mechanism, video analytics, and the law and order apparatus, which has got a legal framework to deal with different situations, and the training of police and suitable arms and equipment, and the standard operating procedure. So basically what it brings us to is the war rooms atmosphere and the video walls, which are scalable. I would like to repeat this word again and again. What I am saying is the war room and the video walls should be scalable and should make themselves amenable for escalation from a region to the state headquarters to the national headquarters. So whatever analytics are available to a region should also be available to the state headquarters, should also be available to the national headquarters, so that quality decision can be taken for the response. So dial 100 is a system where people call in from their mobile phones or land phones. It's a voice message that comes in, somebody keys into a system, and all these things are again sent into the war room, so that along with the visuals, be it with the media visuals or visuals sent by the departments, all of them can be again put together, and in convergence, a war room and a video wall can take quality decisions. Now, if you look at the scalable thing, again, whatever I'm saying is whatever data is available in whatever form, whether it is text, visuals, or voice, whether it can be shareable on a real-time basis from the local location to the district headquarters to the state headquarters and Delhi. That is very, very important. Thank you.